As of starting this recording, it's 9:07 p.m. and we're going to be doing something a little different today. So, honestly, we're always doing something different on this channel, so just bear with me. I just kind of want to jump around. It's more fun to just kind of do different things. But anyway, we're doing a podcast today. So, I don't have, like, a list of things written down, but basically, I'm just going to talk for an hour. I was actually recommended to do this. One of my subscribers just texted me. He's a close friend of mine, and he said that he wants me to do a podcast for him. And so I'm basically doing it for him and just anyone who wants to listen. So this would be a great video if you're doing something. Like, I'm just going to be sitting here talking, but I'm not really going to be looking at the camera. I'm just going to be like on my phone and stuff. So there's not really going to be anything happening on the screen. But you can always just like put your phone down or your computer down and just kind of do something else. Like for me, I had to do a project for school, so I'll listen to podcasts and kind of just do it. Or like I'm not sure if you can do this, but I like listening to podcasts while I do essays. So just sit back, put some headphones in, and I guess you could just listen, and hopefully you enjoy. The first thing we're going to start off with is a lot of my friends recently have been going into high school, whether that be going into your second year, whether it be you're actually going from 8th grade into freshman year, and it can be very, very scary. And I'm a junior this year, so I already have 2 years of high school experience, so I kind of want to give my advice for somebody who's about to be an upcoming high schooler. And I'm just going to be kind of addressing like anxiety, just like problems that you may be having or fears you may be having about it. So let's just start talking about it. So I would say the first thing is how you feel right now is exactly how I felt going into high school. The anxiety of going into high school, the fear of not having friends, the fear of being the outcast, the fear of not being the best or being the worst, everything like that goes through everybody's head. So I want to first point out you're not alone, because that's just how it is. That's when you go through the process of going through getting into high school, it can be really scary. It can be really menacing, and it feels like you're alone sometimes because adults can't really help you since you're going into this like by yourself, and a lot of times your friends don't help you. If they're your same age, because they're doing the same thing, and they don't know how to help you. So I'm just going to kind of tell you how it is from experience, because I've been through that. And I think one of the first things that I would say is just, I know you're going to, but don't worry. Because no matter how scary it may seem, you will make friends. And I say that because I'm a goofy kid. I'm like super goofy, like I laugh all the time at like I'll laugh in the worst situations possible. Like some kid will get roasted and everyone's silent, and then there's just me in the back of the room starting to laugh. Like I laugh at everything. So a lot of kids think I'm weird, but like you will find there's like a clique in every school, and you will find yours. Like for me, I found. It was like the second day of school, right? And the first day I made no friends, and I was like, oh no, like this is really bad. But I also want to point this out before I keep going. Don't expect you to just have friends like that. You're not going to go in on the first day and everyone's going to love you. It's just not going to happen like that. And the reason why is because everyone feels the same way you do. Going into high school, you're walking in, you're trying to be confident, but everyone feels awkward. Everyone is like, oh, I'm not going to make any friends, and everyone's shy. But as the weeks go by, as the days go by, you start getting more comfortable. And with the people you sit around, especially in in multiple classes, if you sit with someone, or in like a specific class that you enjoy, if you sit next to someone that you like, teachers do projects, because when you do projects, you're forced to communicate with each other. And when you do that, you form these bonds that you don't really know you form. And within like 3 or 4 days of being at the school that I go to, I immediately had friends. And I'm not flexing because I'm not very popular. I would say on the social hierarchy, if you want to call it that, I'm very, like, well, not really low, because I don't really think there's a high and low to the hierarchy, but there's obviously the kids that, like, have a ton of friends, and then there's the kids like me who, I have a few friends. I would say I have it, like, 20 to 30, maybe, but to me, that's all I need. And every day I hang out with different people, you know? Like, you'll find your little, niche, if you know what I mean. So I would just say don't be worried, because okay, so going back to what I was talking about, the way you feel is how everyone else feels. Like the feeling you have, the anxiety you have, the fear of not making friends, the fear of being awkward, that's what everyone has. And I think following that, kind of like down a similar path on to a different discussion, don't be worried about messing up in front of the class, because let me tell you, everyone does. I mean, every single person does. Like, there was one time and I hate to say this because I feel like I'm kind of giving into the ideologies of high school, but the popular kid, if you want to call him that, went up, right? And he ended up, like, he did a really good presentation, but he voice cracked really, really bad, okay? And everyone started laughing, and it was fine. And then I go up there, right? And I was like, oh no, like, if I voice crack, I'm not popular and people won't laugh. And I was sick at the time, so I ended up voice cracking, like, really bad. And honestly, no one really cared. Like, no one really laughed. But it wasn't like, oh, you voice cracked, you know? Like, people are just nice. And you will find people that are assholes. You'll find people that you really don't like, and you will find people that don't like you. But honestly, it'll work out. Like, oh my gosh, there's this kid. I'm not gonna say his name, but at my school, there's this kid, and he despises me, and I don't know why. He just hates me so much. But if you, like, for me, having him helps me to bond with my friends more, because he'll walk by, right, and he'll give me, like, this dirty look, and he'll, like, look at me, and I could just tell he wants to burn me in a fire, and I'll look at my friend and be like, dude, he hates me so much, and then we start laughing. But, and I like, okay, just as a warning, because this is only 7 minutes in, I'm probably going to make it, like, an hour or so, we're just going to keep going, we're just going to keep diverging, so we're going to be going this way, and then we're going to turn, right, and then we're going to keep going, and then we're going to turn and make a hard right, and then go straight up again. It's just going to be like that. This isn't like I don't have anything I'm going to talk about, and if I run out of things to talk about, I'm just going to bring something else up. So, like, this, you can't really look for something specific in this, because there's not anything specific. I'm going to be talking a lot about, like, school, peer pressure, stuff like that, but I don't know. We're just going to see where this goes. After an hour, like, as of right now, I don't know where this is going, but we'll just see. Anyway, but yeah, like, I don't know. It'll be fine. But, like, just, I know it's hard to think like this, but try not to be worried, because, and I know you will, and everyone does, so it's fine, but just try and be optimistic about it, because don't judge. It's kind of like not judging a book by its cover. Don't go into school thinking you're not going to make friends, because you will. But the one thing I will say from experience is, do not act like someone else. Don't act like you, if you're not into sports, if you're not into, you know, throwing the football and everything, don't lie about it. Because in my first year at my school, I acted like I was super into football, okay? I acted like, because I wanted to be, you know, one of the cool kids. I was still kind of naive then. I was like 15, I think, or 14. And I remember I was just sitting there, right, with this group of friends, and, like, they were talking about football, you know, throwing out, like, oh, Odell, and all these weird names I still don't know, and I was just sitting there like, God, this sucks so much ass. And even though I had friends, it wasn't good friends. Like, I went to school just kind of like, oh my God, I have to try and act like I know what football is again. And as soon as I acted like myself, those people, you know, like, we're still friends, but I don't hang out with them as much, mainly because I don't have anything to talk about with them. But as soon as I opened up and was honest, I felt like people respected me more. For instance, I have a really bad stutter. And like it happens randomly. Um, like right now I'm talking fine, but if I get excited or if I get nervous, like especially in class, either during presentations or during like and like tests or anything, if somebody asks me a question, I stutter so bad, and I stutter on certain letters, like F. So football, for instance, like right now, right there, I had to sit for a second, and just kind of think about the word before I said it, because if I don't think about it, I can't say it. Like saying football, like it's really hard for me. Um, and when I'm nervous, I stutter. So I tried my best to be quiet during all my classes because I was really nervous about my stutter. And I remember one day I was like, you know what? Like, I want to speak up in class, you know? Like, I want to be able to be myself. I want to be able to speak up. I want to be able to voice my opinion, and I don't care about the stuttering, right? And I ended up stuttering a ton, but I ended up getting it out. And after, somebody was like, after class, something I said, this kid walked up to me and started talking to me. And we're still friends to this day. He didn't comment about my stuttering. He didn't comment about how like I was just being super cringy. You know, he was genuinely nice and honest with me. And I think that's what you need to remember, is that when you're going into high school, everyone around you is not perfect because we're all human. You can't go into a classroom and think I'm the only weird person in here, because it's not true. Everyone is weird in their own way. Like for me, like my stutter or the fact that I can't hear very well. So if a teacher tries to talk to me, like I'll be like, "Sorry, what? I didn't hear you," and I have to say like, "Sorry, what?" over and over because I can't hear very well. Or the fact that I wear glasses, or I'm going to be wearing glasses, like that's something that makes me nervous because it's like, oh, I'm gonna be a nerd. But people don't give a shit because they know that they have problems too. And if you find someone that thinks they're perfect, you need to get them out of your friend group because they're not okay. There are people at schools that think that they are all that in a box of crackers, okay? They think that everyone loves them, they think that everyone should love them, and they think that they can't make a mistake, right? And those people, just be careful with them because they will judge you and they're going to make you upset, and you need to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because my friends, we are all goofy as hell. Like, we're super weird, we're super goofy. I think like 3 of us stutter. Like, it's kind of funny. But it's not, like, you'll meet people that kind of understand you. Like, for me, I think the reason why I have a couple friends that stutter is because we all kind of understand the problem. So, like, for me, I'll stutter a ton, and I'll look at the kid, and I'll just be like, like, I'll use my mouth, and I'll be like, really, dude, like, did you just see that? And we both laugh about it. Like, I'll go sit down, and we'll talk about how bad the stutter was. And it's more of a genuine friendship, whereas someone who it's like, if you feel like you have to go up to the podium when you're speaking and try and be perfect with every word you say, then the person who's watching you that's making you feel like that, that's not healthy for you. Like, you need to be able to go to school and be as open as you are at the house. Like, I'm not saying, like, I make a ton of sex jokes, but I can't do that at school. But you need to be able to be open with yourself, and you need to be able to be open with your friends. I feel like that's super important with, like, just anything at school. If you're not open with yourself, especially with teachers. Like, for teachers, I stutter, but I talk in class, and I go in, and even though it makes me nervous, I talk with them, and it just makes it better. And I would say my 2 biggest pieces of advice for high school is, first of all, don't act like someone else. Be yourself, and you will find someone. I can promise you that. And if you don't find someone, like, comment and be like, yo, no one likes me. And the reason why I say that is because no one's going to comment that. Because, first of all, I only have 22 subscribers, so only 22 people are going to see this at most. And not only that, but if you, like, it's just not going to happen. Everyone finds, okay, I'm not trying to be mean, okay, but there have been some very, very weird people that I've seen at my school, or very, very, like assholes, or, like, anyone you could think of. There's this kid at my school who's, like, your stereotypical nerd. He has Pokemon cards, he always, like, his glasses are really thick, and I'm not judging him, like, because I don't care, I'm not going to judge him, because I'm goofy too, but he's your stereotypical nerd, and he has a decent amount of friends, so, I just don't get, like, like going into it, I understand how scary it is. But now that I'm standing here and I understand how everything works, it just kind of pisses me off that people think that. It's like, oh, high school is gonna be like throwing all of us in with lions, and only some of us are gonna survive because that's not how it works, you know. Like it's a school with kids, you know. Stuff's gonna happen. It's not perfect, but it's fun. You know, like you need to go to dances. My biggest problem as a freshman is I was super shy. Okay, and I never went to dances, and I never texted people. I was like very short and concise emails, and I never let myself get out there. And recently, I let myself kind of open up to people, and I'm not gonna lie to you. As soon as I opened up, there were like 3 or 4 girls that started texting me, and it's like, you know, we're just friends. But what I'm trying to make, like, I'm not trying to like flex or anything, but all I'm trying to make a point about is be yourself. Just be yourself, and everything will be fine. Do not fake who you are, and do not fake what you like. Do not fake your interests. Don't fake liking someone either. I'm not saying be an asshole. I'm not saying, you know, you need to walk up to them and be like, I hate you so much. But like, if you don't like someone, kind of distance yourself from them. Or try not to hang out with them too much, because at the end of the day, it's just going to make everything worse, because you're going to hang out with them, and then it's going to be like, oh god, like he doesn't like me, and it's just going to make it worse. So just kind of be nice, but distance yourself. Make sure you find people that you like who like you, and that will happen. Also, I'm gonna walk away from the camera for a second, because I just realized I'm gonna be talking for an hour and my mouth's already getting dry. So if you're not watching the screen, just give me like, I don't know, like a minute, and I just need to go get some water. And then another problem, I also apologize. I literally can't, like, I don't know how to edit this, so it's just gonna be like 30 seconds of silence. So I don't know, just bear with me. I'll be back. I also got a cookie. Because, I don't know, I'm gonna get hungry. What was I talking about? Well, I mean, school, you know? I guess I would just say, also, I feel like a comedian. You know how side rant. You know how comedians always have, like, a bottle next to them? And they like, constantly go back and take a sip of it? I never understood that, but now I do. Just, like, talking for this long. And I laugh really weirdly. So, like, when I laugh, my mouth opens a lot, and I release all of the moisture in my mouth, usually on the computer, and I'm joking. But like, my mouth is getting dry, so I apologize for that lack of content at that moment. But I mean, I don't know. Just keep an open mind is all I'm gonna say about that. Keep an open mind about school. Keep an open mind about your friends. Keep it like, don't judge. I think another thing is, if somebody's trying to be your friend, and they, like, okay, again, I'm not trying to be mean, but one of my friends is like a nerd. Okay, he looks like a nerd, and I remember, and again, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you, because I don't know, I just like being honest with this channel. Looking at him, I first was like, oh, he's never gonna be my friend. Look at how weird he is. But I ended up sitting next to him, and I soon realized that I should not have judged him the way I did, because he was such a cool guy, and I even texted him over the summer, like, or over this summer. He's just such a cool guy, and he's so open. He, like, oh, I can always talk with him. He's just a really cool guy, and even though, you know, he may look weird on the outside, or if you meet someone and they look weird on the outside, judge them by how they treat you rather than how they look at you, or like how they look to you. Because that's, I guess, like, the biggest problem with high school, is a lot of people just judge a book by its cover. And one of the biggest quotes is, do not judge a book by its cover, and I 100% agree with that. Like, people may, like, I don't know. I just don't try and be friends with popular kids. If it happens, that's cool, like, good for you. But if you're not friends with the quote-unquote popular kids, you know, all the kids everyone talks about, it doesn't matter. it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're popular or not. Because at the end of the day, high school means nothing. The only thing that matters is grades, to be honest with you. Like, in high school, making friends is really important, but being the most popular person in high school is not going to make you become a lawyer, you know? It's not going to make you be super successful. I know so many popular people that are just terrible at school. And even though they're really nice to their friends and everything, they're just complete and utter assholes. All the teachers hate them, and it's like everyone just knows them as like, yes, they're popular, but they're also just a dick. And I would rather people not really know me, um, or just know me as that kid who's nice, you know? Like, I would say everyone's popular in their own way, whether it be you're popular because that one time you threw an egg at the wall and hit a teacher on accident, or because you're really nice to everyone, and it's like, oh yeah, that's that. Like, at my school, I'm known as the kid who holds the door. Like, everyone know, like, if they don't know my name, like, hey, you're the kid who always holds the door, right? Like, and I like that because it's like I'm kind of popular, and people don't really want to talk to me, but like I could, like, it leaves an imprint on the school, I guess. And if you want to do something in your high school year, try and make an imprint on the school. And I'm not saying, kind of like what I just said, don't throw an egg at a teacher's head and be like, oh, I left an imprint, you know? Like, try and be nice. Try and be respectful. Treat everyone equally. Like, hold the door all the time. Just treat people with respect, and they'll give you respect back. The one thing I'll say is you don't see people, at least at my school, getting awards for being popular. Like, again, not trying to flex, but I'm not popular and I got an award last year. Like, it does not matter if you're popular. Like, there's this guy, and everyone loves him. Not because he's amazing at football, not because, you know, he just walked in and everyone loved him. It's because he's nice. Like, he's just such a genuinely nice guy that when you see him and he smiles at you, you can't help but smile back. And he gives you this feeling like dude, this dude could be my friend, like 100%. And I feel like that's kind of what I strive to be. And that's what you should strive to be. Like, so many people are like, oh, I can only get popular if, like, I'm the class clown and I make people laugh and I mess with the teachers. Because that's not true. There's so many ways about getting your name out there at your school. I mean, even there's some kid at my school. Sorry, I'm just trying to give you like real life reasons or like real life items that would show you why. Like, I'm not lying to you. I'm being honest. Some kid is really good at chess, like very good at chess at my school. And you would think that people wouldn't like him because, like, oh, there's the chess nerd. But he's so nice. He's so nice. But, like, when he plays chess, he just gets in the zone and he doesn't really turn mean, but the seriousness in his face is just insane. And he goes super tryhard, and people like him because it's like, yo, that dude is way too real at chess. But people like him for it. But I feel like there's also some things you don't really want, like, I would say be open with people, but don't be openly open, if that makes sense. Like, I would say, also, if you're not looking, I'm eating a cookie right now, so if I sound different, that's why. I'm trying to keep the cookie in my mouth while I talk. I feel like there's some people at school that just overshare. I'm not sure if you know those people. Do you know those people that, like, they're just talking to you? And the way that they, like, you're just like, yeah, TMI. Like, I don't need to know that. Like, there was some kid who walked up to me, we were talking, and then he randomly started talking about, like, how his grandpa was dead. And not that I don't care, of course, but I'd met him, like, 5 minutes ago, and, like, that doesn't leave a good imprint, you know? It's like, it's just like, oh, yeah, there's that kid that talks about his grandpa that died. And if you need to grieve, you know? Like, talk to your friends, but just be wary. Not because people, I mean, yes, people are assholes, but mainly because if you overshare, you may let something out that could get you in trouble, or you may let something out where somebody could use it against you. So I would just say just be careful. And I'm not going to talk about it, but I'm speaking from personal experience. Like, just make sure that there's a certain line you're not supposed to cross when you're talking to school friends, you know, like more of acquaintances. Like, you could talk about school, you could joke around, you could, like, talk about memes or something, but as soon as you talk about, like, I don't know, like, I don't know why, but the first thing that comes to my head is, like, if you were just talking and one of your friends was like, yo, I just jacked off, like, 5 minutes ago, I'd be like, yeah, I don't care, thanks for telling me, but, like, no, I don't care. That's, like, the kind of line you don't want to cross. Like, save your family issues, I would say, for your friends, for your family, and for teachers. Which leads into the next thing I wanted to talk about. Teachers are there to help you. Some are assholes, some are not. But there's usually at least one teacher that you will find that you like. And embrace that. Embrace the teachers that like you, because they will be there for you. Now I'm going to tell you a story. I don't want this to piss anyone off, and I'm just going to tell you this and then explain it after, so don't make assumptions until after I'm done talking. So there's someone in 8th grade that I like getting straight A's. Like, I'm just a nerd, okay? I'm just straight up a nerd. I was going to try and sugarcoat it, but no, I'm just a nerd. And I wanted to get straight A's. And I know it's stupid, but I had an A minus, and I'm pretty sure I wanted to get an A. I don't really remember because this was like 4 or 5 years ago. But I wanted to get... Also, I'm going to go sit down because my legs are getting tired. I've been standing here for 25 minutes or 26, whatever. So I was really good friends with this teacher. I would honestly say that she was my friend. Let me close that. And we were just, like, talking, and I told her, I was just honest with her. I was like, look, I really would like to get all A's. But this last test, I didn't do very well on it. And it wasn't because I didn't study, I just didn't quite understand, like what she had told me. And I just talked with her, and I was the only person that she let retake the test. And I'm not saying kiss your teacher's asses to get what you want. What I'm more saying is make sure that you treat your teachers with as much respect as you treat your friends. Because in the long run, I mean, yeah, actually I'm saying kiss your teacher's asses, but, like, not in the traditional way. I mean, like, just treat your teachers with respect. And if you treat them with respect, they will treat you with respect. And I guess that's that. Like your teachers aren't some foreign entity that you can't talk to because, you know, it's like, I know it's kind of awkward, but you need to just be honest with them. Like, because if you're honest with them, they may be like, look, I understand here, like, I'll do this for you and help you. Because they're not out to get you. They're not out to give you F's and everything. And I think that's one misconception, is, like, teachers just want to give you F's, and, like, if you tell them something, they want to screw you over. Because, honestly, they're there for your success. And not saying all teachers, but most teachers want to help you. So if you ask them to help you, they will. And, yeah. I guess that's it about school. Another thing I wanted to touch upon. Peer pressure. Now we're getting into drugs, okay? Again, like I said, we're going to keep segueing over and over. I don't really know what we're going to be talking about, but we are. Peer pressure is a huge problem everywhere. Whether you're looking at, like, schools, at school, you know, like, outside of school with your friends. Impressing your friends is, like, a really important thing for a lot of people. But just like what I was talking about before, there's, just like with sharing, there's a line that you cannot cross when it comes to doing something for your friends. Because if you cross that line, I would go as far as to say they shouldn't be your friend. And I would say, like, don't not be their friend. But when it comes... So, let me just tell a story, because I'm better at telling stories than trying to explain stuff. So, let's just say you were at a party, okay? And one of your friends handed you a beer, okay? Like, in one of those stereotypical red cups. And was like, here, I want you to drink this. And you were like, no, I'm okay. Like, I don't want to drink, obviously. Like, I'm underage or whatever. And he says, no, drink it. I want you to. That's when you need to just kind of push him a little bit and be like, no, I will not drink that, and if you force that on me, I'm gonna, and then, insert whatever you're gonna do. I don't know. Whatever your kind of style is, like, I wouldn't say, oh, I'm gonna punch you, but, I don't know. That may be you. I'm not gonna judge you. You be you, This is 2019. Let's be open with each other. But, that's the line that your friends shouldn't cross. If they're forcing you to do things that as soon as you feel uncomfortable, you need to let them know. Because they may not know. Like, somebody offered me a vape at school, and I said no, and they kept trying to push it on me. And I was like, look, you're making me uncomfortable, and I'm going to tell a teacher. Like, I won't tell a teacher, but I don't want you to force it on me, because I don't want it. And when you get a little bit more stern with them, usually they're like, oh, look, like, I'm sorry, like, I didn't mean to do that. And then they back off, and then they won't do it again. But you need to be open. And, like, some people feel like they can't be honest with their friends, because, like, it'll look weird, or they'll be like, oh, you're such a pussy, like, you can't do anything. And in all honesty, from experience with, like, I don't know, I've just seen, like, somebody offer someone something, they say no, and it's like, alright, I respect that, you're fine, I'm not going to judge you. I mean, that's not what they say, but it's kind of like, high school language, that's kind of what they're saying. Like, oh, yo, it's all good, fam, so stuff like that. I just don't want to say that because it's cringy, but they will respect you more if you're honest with them. But you can't let your friends push you around. And if your friends do push you around, again, they shouldn't be your friends. If your friends are there to, like, if your friends harass you, in like a bad way, like, I get harassed, but it's kind of like a good way, if that makes sense. Like, I don't care, because it's, like, fun, and I'm okay with it, then it's fine. But if you're not okay with how they harass you, then that's something that you need to fix, and that's something that you need to address to yourself, and maybe to your friend if you're open with them enough. And if they won't help you to feel more comfortable with them, I would say back off, and, like, I guess not be friends with them anymore, or at least kind of distance yourself. I think it's healthy to keep a distance with people who don't feel you don't feel comfortable with. But don't be, like, openly, like, a dick to them. Just kind of treat them with respect, but distance yourself. Make sure that you make boundaries that they can't cross. And if they cross, then be like, yo, too far, go away. Like, you're making me uncomfortable. And then here, I'll tell you another story. So this is, like, kind of weird, but I'll tell you anyway. So I had one of those friends where they just kept kind of crossing my line a little bit too much, and I let them. And nothing against this, but I knew he was gay. And again, I don't have a problem with this, so please don't say I'm, like, homophobic. I don't have a problem with people being gay. But I have a problem with people trying to force people who are straight to like them. And what I mean by that is this. So this dude, he ended up doing some things, I'm not going to say them, but he ended up doing some things that made me uncomfortable. And I was just, like, very, very, very nice. But I was like, look, can you please not do this? It makes me a little uncomfortable, and I would rather you not. And he was like, oh, you're homophobic. And I was like, no, I just don't really want you to do that to me, because I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in women, not men. So he backed off for a little bit, and I started getting, I was starting to be more friends with him, because I was like, I appreciate you being nice. And one day, I was in the bathroom, and he walked in and basically tried to peer pressure me into showing him my willy, if you want to call it that. And that's what I'm talking about. If you let people, like, I'll just finish my story. So, long story short, I said no. He tried to proceed to back me into a corner, and I was like, if you don't stop, I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream rape, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to see that you have me cornered, and there's going to be a lot more problems for you. And he backed off, and I walked out of the bathroom, and that was that. I didn't treat him with disrespect, but I distanced myself, because I was like, that was not okay. And the reason why peer pressure is so important is because if you let people walk over you, they're going to start doing things you don't want. If I didn't stop him, I could have been molested. If I didn't have the strength in me and the open-mindedness to, or not really the open-mindedness, but, like, if I didn't have the, like, whenever I was with him, I was always cautious.
Because I never knew what was going to happen. Like, I trusted him, and again, I'm not saying I was being cautious because he was a homosexual, because I'm not homophobic, but I was cautious mainly because of what he'd done in the past, and it paid off because I was I wasn't really expecting, but as soon as he walked in the bathroom, for some reason I was like, oh, I know what he's going to do. Like, I feel like he's going to make me uncomfortable, and I was stern enough to be like, you need to stop that, and he did. And I think that's important. I think it's important to make sure that you have boundaries with your friends, like I've said, because if you don't have boundaries with them, then you're gonna end up getting yourself hurt, and you're gonna end up making them feel like they could overpower you. And yeah, just make sure you know your friends and make sure you know yourself. Make sure that if you are someone who's more shy, maybe like me, who has a harder time saying no to people, try not to put yourself into situations where you have to say no. If you know that there's a party and there's drinking, just don't go to the party. Or if you know that you're going to a friend's house and they've been weird in the past, just don't go. Just be like, hey, can I bring someone else? Um, I think that's important. I think that's really important. Just to give, like, just to, just don't jump to conclusions, you know? Don't be naive. When something happens, try and think about it. Like, when I was little, I used to have it where, like, if something happened, I wouldn't take it in and think about it. I would more jump all over it, let my feelings get in the way of how I truly felt, and then in the long run, it would kick me right in the ass. And if you kind of let things glaze over and you think about it, and you kind of... So, for instance, sorry, another story. But I feel like the stories help kind of like paint a picture of what I'm trying to say. So there's a teacher who sent me a really mean email and was basically saying how my writing was terrible and how I needed to fix it. And instead of jumping right into it and insulting him, or, like, just completely, like, ripping him up, I sat on it for a few days. And I was like, I'm not going to send him an email. I'm going to think about how I feel and how this made me feel and be honest with him. And I ended up waiting, like, I think a week because it really upset me. And I ended up messaging him again. And I was like, look, I appreciate your feedback, but the way you phrased that really hurt my feelings, and I was wondering if that's what you truly meant or if you meant something else but accidentally portrayed it that way. And he ended up emailing me back. He was so flustered and upset with himself, and he ended up, like, apologizing and re-explained what he meant in a really nice way, in a really helpful way. And not only did that save me from getting in trouble, but it also saved me, it helped me with the assignment more than if I would have insulted him, because then we wouldn't be close. But that made us closer in the long run, because after that, I could joke with, like, I ended up joking with him about it. I was like, oh, are you going to send me another mean email? And he started laughing. He's like, no, I'm sorry. But if you're open, like, it just kind of goes back to what I was talking about, like, 10 minutes ago. If you're open with your teachers and honest with them and nice to them, then things will be a lot better for you. I think high school, oh god, high school boils down to, like, high school looks like this giant clusterfuck of just, like, everything happening at once. But if you really boil it down and kind of going through it, I could say this, like, it's kind of dumb, to be honest with you. It's kind of just antisocial, awkward children running around with more freedom than middle school, learning things they don't want to learn, and just goofing around. That's basically what it boils down to. And I think that's it. Like, don't overhype high school, because it's not this amazing growing thing, It's not like you're gonna walk into high school and become a man or a woman, It's more of, it's like middle school, but you're older. And there's, like, it's harder. It's like a harder middle school. So imagine your middle school, but just like a little bit harder. Like imagine everything that happened, just a little bit harder. And that's high school. Like that's it in a nutshell, I would say. Like that's literally it. Just high school is middle school, but just a little harder. Or it's middle school, but just a little bit more strict. You know, it's just kind of like it's not. I don't even know what the word I'm trying to find. It's just like it's kind of cool, but it's not that amazing. But it also doesn't suck that much either. Like all those movies where there's like that one clique that like dominates everyone, and you know, like everyone's scared of them. This is just not true. It just doesn't happen. There's not that one clique that dominates. Because there's so many, it'd be impossible. And there's so many too. Like you have so many options of friends. It's ridiculous. I just remember going into high school. And I remember going in and sitting down. And after a week I was like, it's just middle school again. It's like all that preparing, you know, like, oh, you need to work hard to be in high school, like it's gonna be a lot harder. It's not really. The only thing I would say, and this is a completely different segue, I'm going to stand again because, I don't know, I just feel like it. And my water's over here. The only thing I would say that's very different, and this is if you have finals. I mean, I know some people just have like one big test. I mean, that's basically a final. But like if you have finals, ow, pin my finger, ouch. Finals. Oof. Finals. Oh, God. Going into finals. Jesus. I don't even know where to start with finals. Jesus. They suck. Really bad. Like, they're not too bad. I make it sound like World War III just happened, but, like, they will tear your brain apart. Like, finals, to me, feels like running a marathon with your brain 5 times in a day. I'm lucky enough that for my school, I'm not sure if other schools do this, some schools had it where you do all your finals in one day, and that kind of sucks. For my school, I have 2 finals, and then a break. So, like, 2 finals, and then I get to take the rest of the day off, and I get to leave school early and, you know, either study a little more or take a nap. And then the next day I have 2 more, or 1 depending if I have the class or not. But I guess I would say finals, like, they're kind of hard. I mean, yes, they're hard. But they're really only hard if you don't study. But studying is by far the worst thing to do, okay? Like, I'm not saying it's, like, the worst thing to study, but I'm saying the act of studying just, like, is so boring. Like, it's so incredibly boring that sometimes I'm just sitting there studying, and I keep missing my elbow on the desk. Sorry, I keep going like that. Like, just studying sucks. But you need to study. Like, that's the last. You need to study, because if you don't study, you're gonna fail your final. If you fail your final, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I guess for me, okay, like this is kind of bad, but this is how I look at the school year. Okay, I usually end again. I'm not trying to flex, but I'm just being honest. I usually end with like a 96 and a couple classes like 90s usually, like A's and B's. So it's not bad, but it's, you know, I mean, yes, it's pretty good. But I ended with a 104 in my last year's English class, or in my freshman year English class. I got like 104%. And I did the calculations. Also, even though if you look up BCP GPA calculator and go to the finals tab at the top, it should say like finals, like it just says finals or something. If you go to that, actually hold on, since I have